You're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network.
Fabulous.
Live every Sunday with the very latest food, beverage, and travel trends.
Amazing.
Now here's the host of our show, Mr. Randall White.
Hello, everyone. Great to have you with us on this Sunday Fun Day morning. Glad you can be here for hour number two of the show today. I am your host, Randall White, and we are coming to you live from California's Central Coast and broadcasting to all points, California. This is where members of the state and residents, people from even out of state that are listening online, come to talk about the very latest food, beverages, and travel trends. News and information that affects your physical and mental health and how you spend your leisure time, which we all know is very important. My lovely co-host Patty Pyburn joins me, fresh off a hike this morning.
Indeed. It was nice and chilly out there this morning while I was hiking.
Hey, we practice what we preach on this show, right? It's all about getting out there and enjoying what we got. Yeah, I bet it was a chilly start to the day.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are grabbing blankets out of their closets.
It's been a little cooler at night, and I have to say I'm enjoying that.
I enjoy it too. Our audio guys got UGG slippers on just to give you an idea of how the temperatures have changed over the past few weeks. I think this next week I'm going to climb under the house and fix some air duct issues that we have because I think the heater might be turned on sooner than later.
So you need to be ready for that. Make sure everything's in working order.
That's right. Okay, straight ahead on this hour of the Eat, Drink, Explore radio program, we're learning some valuable tips for booking tours. And I'm so glad, Patty, that you're here this morning because I remember your tour of Europe.
Yes, my first tour experience.
And boy, that didn't go well. So
No.
poorly that you got a redo.
We got a do-over, and our tour guide was fired mid-tour by the company. That tells you something.
I don't mean to laugh, but yeah, that really does tell you something. So our guest is a woman who deals with a wide variety of tours all the time as part of her job. So over time, she has discovered what makes some really great and some bad enough to ruin your vacation, as Patty knows, tours. Corey Schaefer's her name, and she'll join us to explain some simple ways to figure out the difference before you book. Okay. Also, at 9:30, we'll have the best from this week's Twitter posts. Patty and I will discuss the 7 best foods to buy organic. Also, hangover cures. I don't know if you've seen this in the news, but there is a popular soft drink. I don't drink soft drinks, but one popular soft drink, Chinese study showed that it helps cure hangovers better than anything else. And there's also been a rush to buy something that you give dehydrated infants. The college crowd is using that now for hangovers.
Interesting.
And fluoride in our tap water. All those things coming up during our best of Twitter post segment. I also have a call out to our Twitter followers to what was your favorite posts of the week or topics of the week regarding food, wine, and travel. You can find us on Twitter at twitter.com/eat Drink Explore. And then in our final segment today, Patty, we welcome to the program a meteorologist who had grabbed his share of insulting headlines. Really, when you look over the headlines for this guy, it makes me cringe at the news industry. But he took what I believe to be a very courageous and necessary step by pledging to stop flying in order to vastly shrink his carbon footprint. Mm-hmm. Now, he went online and checked his carbon footprint, and air travel was like
that was
huge for him. You know, for me, it's just a fraction. I only fly once, maybe twice a year. And so, but for him, cutting out flying was a big deal. He actually was moved to tears when he read the new recent Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report. This is a meteorologist, who was the main meteorologist for the Wall Street Journal for a while. And so anyway, we'll speak with him about that and how he feels about some of the headlines that he drew when he said that he would
not going to fly anymore.
Wasn't going to fly anymore. All those stories straight ahead on Eat, Drink, Explore Radio. But right now, Patty Pyburn's got the news.
That's right. It is time for the latest food, beverage, and travel news from the Eat, Drink, Explore news desk. On on this Sunday morning. A Bay Area Costco store is recalling roughly 40,000 pounds of its rotisserie chickens after a cooked bird tested positive for salmonella. The contamination at the South San Francisco store could be linked to the ongoing Foster Farms salmonella outbreak that has already sickened more than 300 people since March. Now, according to NBC News, officials are still trying to figure out how the salmonella bacteria could have survived the cooking process, with temperatures a good 15 degrees higher than what is necessary to kill the bacteria.
Yeah, I think it was the vice president of Costco that was quoted saying he doesn't know if the bio load was just so huge on these chickens that somehow some of it made it through
Escape the cooking process.
Right. Or if maybe there was cross-contamination, which would make sense, after they were cooked, then
that
they were...
some surface or something was contaminated in the
Yeah.
cooking area. That's possible. Well, late this past week, the USDA gave the green light to allow Foster Farms to continue operating its Livingston and Fresno chicken farms under the conditions that the company fixed the issues with its food safety operations. It's a little scary when you hear stuff like this. Well, California's famous Sierra Nevada brewery, no reason to be scared here,
No.
is getting ready to start brewing its first batch of beer made outside the state. The company's brand new North Carolina plant has been test brewing for the past few weeks and plans to have its official batch number 1 in the tanks by early November. The Mills River facility has a 350,000 barrel capacity and will help supply the East Coast, saving the company money on shipping costs. That is a green maneuver right there.
Oh, for sure.
And elevating the craft brewery's position among top sellers.
Sierra Nevada's done a number of green
Very smart.
things. Yeah, I like them.
Okay, the nation's oldest full-time park ranger, love this story, says the leaders in Washington are wasting her very precious time. I wish she could just go up there and tell them a thing or two.
I
don't
love
you?
her. I listened to her entire sound clips yesterday, and I got to tell you, she is one sharp cookie.
92-year-old Betty Reed Soskin works at the Rosie the Riveter National Historical Park in Richmond, and she was furloughed this past week as part of the now week-long partial government shutdown. Well, Soskin told the Associated Press that she hopes the issues in Washington can get resolved so that she can get back to work before she forgets how to tie her own shoes.
She said that total tongue-in-cheek. I mean, this woman is sharp as a tack, and she's
gosh.
like, but come on, folks, I'm 92.
Yeah.
Every day not working for me is another day shaved off that,
Oh, that's so fun. I mean, really, we need to send her to Washington, D.C.
All right.
Well, the Rosie the Riveter Museum is just one of many top visited national park units here in California that are sadly closed for the time being until the people in Washington can get their act together. State officials say there just isn't enough money to pay the operating cost to reopen many of these treasures, even if the federal government may one day down the road reimburse the state for these costs. Meanwhile, the story, of course, different in other parts of the country where the Statue of Liberty, the Grand Canyon, Colorado's Rocky Mountain National Park are among a dozen facilities that the Department of the Interior has handed over to state governments during this ongoing congressional stalemate.
So the state of New York is, footing the bill for the Statue of Liberty,
Right.
Arizona for the Grand Canyon, and so on. California just, can't bear that burden at this point.
Right, and some workers went back to work with that same understanding. Well, hopefully we'll get paid later.
Yeah. Coming up at 9:30, in addition to the Twitter talk, we'll discuss a airplane door that landed
Yes.
on a motel roof in Monterey County.
Surprise.
Yikes. And it's Yorkshire Pudding Day, National Yorkshire Pudding Day. Not one of my favorites, but
Somebody likes it.
that's right. We're back in just a moment. Join us for the 4th annual Central Coast Bioneers Conference, October 25th to the 27th at the Monday Club in San Luis Obispo. You will hear leading thinkers in ecoscience, social and environmental activism, the new food system economy, economics, and ecosystem restoration. Come away with knowledge on how each of us can play a meaningful role in facing today's world challenges. On Friday, our keynote speaker will be Drew Dellinger, founder of Global Poets for Justice. Enjoy the Green Chef Cook-Off Saturday night, October the 26th, with dancing to the Mother Corn Shuckers, wine, and a great selection of Figueroa Mountain beers. Tickets on sale now at centralcoastbioneers.org. That's centralcoastbioneers.org. And welcome back to the program. I must have put something wrong in the system this morning.
Hello.
I know.
We're on air.
We are on air right now and in the middle of a commercial break at that. But Patty, we didn't get around to mentioning that October is National Apple Month.
Right. And National Popcorn Poppin' Month.
I just did that last night. I'm really in the habit now of sprinkling that nutritional yeast on top. Gives it a buttery taste. So delicious and much better for you. It's also National Fair Trade Month. So if you're headed out to grab a cup of coffee right now or buy some beans, make it fair trade so that you can be in season.
It is
right?
also Rideshare Month.
Yeah, Rideshare Month.
Think about an alternate mode of transportation.
That's right.
You've waited all week, and it's finally here. The Eat, Drink, Explore Weekly Travel Deals Extravaganza.
And welcome back to the program, everyone. Great to have you with us on this Sunday Fun Day, as we like to call it. I am your host, Randall White, joined by Patty Pyburn here in studio.
Good morning, everyone.
We're coming to you live from California's fantastic Central Coast, and our Patty Pyburn, a couple of years ago, took a trip to, was it a couple of years ago or just last year?
It was.
Yeah, a couple of years ago.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, I took a trip to London and Barcelona, Barcelona
and Paris.
and Paris, and had such a horrific experience with the tour guide that not only was the tour guide fired, but they got a redo. They paid for everything all over again, right?
Yeah, they did. Everyone who was on that trip got a chance to have a do-over. We spent a lot of time in parking lots and in lines and all the sightseeing things that were supposed to be arranged. A whole bunch of them didn't happen. But you know what? Moreover, we lost a kid.
Oh, whoa. Yeah.
We lost a kid for a portion of a day in Paris. And we eventually found him. But the tour guide was in a little bit of trouble for, not counting heads.
Yeah.
And it's all more kids than parents. You got to be careful.
Well, it just goes to show you that picking the right tour or tour guide is very important.
Yes.
And that is the topic of our travel deals segment today, because it's not a deal if you pay for it and you have a terrible time, right?
Yes.
Corey Schaefer joins us. She's co-founder of Listen Technologies. She makes the headpieces that the tour guides can wear that, broadcast the sound so everyone can hear clearly. And she's got some tips for picking the right tours and tour guides. Hey, Corey, welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, nice to have you here. And so, because of the equipment that you provide to all these different tours and tour guides, and then tourists also use your product, you must come in contact with a wide variety of different types of tours, and that has given you the tools to come up with this top 6 list.
Correct.
Yeah. And so tell us, tip number 1 is knowledge and personable guides. But how do you know that when you're doing the booking, which sometimes you're just looking at a web page?
Yeah, so I think go beyond just looking at a web page and actually call and ask some questions and ask questions about the guides and ask if the guide will take questions, what the tour is like, what kind of information is covered, and, especially if you're going to pay for a tour, make sure that what you expect to get out of the tour, you can do your homework ahead of time just to ensure that. And there are guided tours and self-guided, and I've been caught by that. So I actually prefer a guided tour where it's interactive and it's not just a pre-recorded canned pitch, but rather, something live that you can experience and ask questions.
Ask questions is the key part, yeah.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. We took a tour when we were in Paris the first time around. It's funny because then we got the do-over, so we had this comparison of the tour that didn't work out so well and the one that was a little bit better. And I remember that there were so many groups and so much competing noise that it was really difficult for us to all be able to hear what our guide we were at Versailles, and it was just really hard to focus in on what our guide was telling us.
So you start kind of wandering off and looking at the side thing.
Yeah, you're distracted.
You just stop paying attention to the tour guide altogether. So how do you get around that?
So I think asking for enhanced listening devices and asking if a venue has that or if the guide uses that, because the whole reason you would do a tour is because you want to hear and learn something, period. Mm-hmm. And sometimes with just the ambient noise, we call it, around us, so other people talking, kids crying, people coughing, etc., it can really ruin the overall experience. And, Patty, you mentioned going to these other countries. Sometimes hearing a guide talk in there with a bit of an accent makes it a bit challenging for us. So to be able to have a headset on and really hone into what that guide is saying really changes the overall experience.
Right. Yeah, so the sound devices that you can use, you were saying sometimes it's a live tour guide and sometimes it's something that is pre-recorded. When I toured I think it's the Rijksmuseum or something along those lines in Amsterdam, which has a lot of Rembrandts and that sort of thing. It's all pre-recorded, and when you get to a certain painting, you punch in number 74 or whatever it might be, and then it tells you all about that painting. But you don't have it's great, but you don't have the ability to ask a question, and that's really key, isn't it?
It is, and I think being able to ask questions really interact in the surroundings, because you may be with other people on the tour that maybe don't have the courage to ask the question of the guide, but they may make a side comment about "I wonder if," and so really getting what you came for. Pre-recorded tour is fine because you can go at your own pace, and there are a lot of people that like those, but to me it's why not just watch that on a television station or something? So when you're actually there in the surroundings and a question might pop up, to be able to take advantage of that with a knowledgeable guide is ideal.
And then another thing that we encountered, Randall, you probably encountered the same thing, is that sometimes our group was so large to try to maneuver around, and there's so many other, whether they're individuals or other groups, everyone wants to cluster around and see whatever the cool exhibit is.
Right.
And that makes it a little difficult sometimes just to get through an exhibit.
Agreed. And when you can wear something and then kind of go at your own pace or go into a large group and it's just like the guide's talking in your ear, it makes it really ideal. Mm-hmm. So another tip that I recommend is when you're thinking about a tour, ask what the average size of a tour is, because if they're not using maybe a technology, make sure that you're still going to be able to hear the guide. So I'm a Miss Know-It-All, and I really want to get what I came for. So if they're not using a technology to allow me to hear, I want to try to be right up next to the tour guide at all times.
Yeah, maybe ask if they limit the size at some point. Do they cut it off and say no more than 20, and then you'll have to wait for the next one? And that also gives you some information, because then you're like, okay, well, if they're cutting it off at 20, then I may have to wait a while for the next for the next tour.
Right, right. So if I don't show up on time, yeah.
Exactly. So your number 5 tip is the availability of language interpretation services. And this, of course, would come in handy, like in Patty's case when she was over in Europe. I used to give tours of a brewery in Colorado. And we
Lucky
had,
guy.
I got to tell you, it was a lot of fun. It was my very first job. I managed the Boulder Brewing Company tasting room, and part of that was giving these tours. And, we had people from all over the place, and I felt bad from time to time that I wasn't able to slide into German or Spanish or whatever, whatever the other language might be. But some companies, they make sure that their tour guides are multilingual.
Exactly. And then also you can use equipment for that as well. So you can have multiple languages actually on the same tour, and you can have a guy. I've had many tours where one guide's talking in another language, but they're just doing it very, very softly to the participants that need to hear in that language, and they're using technology to do that. I've also been on tours where they didn't really plan on having this many English-speaking participants, and so the group was just way too large to be able to hear the guide.
Right. And then finally, I think Patty's thing about how they lost a kid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Family friendly and safe is very important. No better way to ruin a tour than by having something go awry that way.
Right, or losing a kid. So, not every tour is family friendly. So it's really important to call ahead of time and find out at what age are kids allowed and at what age, and then also things like, can we bring our handbag, purse, cameras, things like that. I just came back from Scotland and did a distillery tour, and they didn't allow any photography, so we had to run back to our car and put that into the car because even I forgot to ask ahead of time.
Right.
Yeah, that is smart. Well, we ran into in Spain getting places and not realizing we arrived during siesta, and then not only is the place the venue that you want to see closed, but everything around it is closed as well.
That happened to me nonstop.
That was a kind of an adjustment for us. We took a really fun tour in London, a Jack the Ripper tour in some kind of back streets with a guy from theater, and he was just amazing. That was an awesome tour.
Well, Corey Schaefer, co-founder of Listen Technologies, thank you for the top 6 list there. ListenTech.com if you're interested in the products they make. Corey, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, stick around. Patty Pyburn and I are back in just a moment to discuss some of our top Twitter tweets of the week, including some certain items that you absolutely, positively should buy organic. Vision to Action is the theme for the 4th annual Central Coast Bioneers Conference, October 25th through the 27th at the Monday Club in San Luis Obispo. Come see the marvelous work being done locally and globally to promote resilient communities and explore new strategies and solutions to combat environmental instability and social inequality. Enjoy field trips, local workshops, inspiring talks by the National Bioneers plenary speakers, music, food, and the green marketplace. In fact, bring your broken items to iFixit's Repair Cafe on Friday, October 25th, where they can show you how to fix just about anything. Also on Friday, meet Bioneers co-founder Nina Simons. Tickets on sale now at centralcoastbioneers.org.
The traditional light bulb, a groundbreaking invention in 1879. Other groundbreaking ideas from that time, the whalebone corset, the pedal-operated submarine, and the 2-story outhouse. We've come a long way since then. It's time our light bulbs did the same. Visit EnergySavers.gov and learn about energy-saving light bulbs. See, these new bulbs are more efficient than the old ones, like a text message is more efficient than a carrier pigeon. They last longer, too, like how we humans last longer now that doctors use antibiotics instead of leeches. And they cut down on our energy costs, because in our own groundbreaking age of aeroplanes and moving pictures, we deserve a light bulb that saves us some cash. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio network. Here now is your fabulous host, Mr. Randall White.
That's correct. She's not lying. It is me, 9:33 the time. Great to have
The
you with
one
us,
and
everyone.
the only.
The only, thank goodness, right? Patty Pyburn by my side. Hello, Patty.
Good morning, everyone.
And a good day to all of you. We're so glad that you're tuned in today, whether it's on KSCO AM 1080 in the beautiful Santa Cruz, Monterey, Santa Clara region, or on Crush 92.5 FM, San Luis Obispo and Santa Barbara counties. We do need to let you know that this segment of our Sunday Funday show is brought to you by the 4th annual Central Coast Bioneers Conference. You know, it's not that far away. It's now October 25th through the 27th at the Monday Club, which is a wonderful venue. I've been to things there.
Yes, I love the Monday Club.
That is in San Luis Obispo. And so the Central Coast Bioneers covers really everything I just said. Santa Cruz, Santa Clara, Monterey County, all the way down through Santa Barbara County, and I think maybe even Ventura County. So everyone will be converging in San Luis Obispo for this conference. I just went to an almost identical conference in Austin, which was a nationwide sort of thing. And I got to tell you, this local one, I think might be better. The one I went to didn't have a chef cook-off.
Wow.
The thing I went to didn't have an iFixit's repair cafe where, and you know the iFixit's people, right?
The iFixit crew, they're an amazing group of people. What they do is pretty awesome.
So basically, you bring your broken items on Friday, October the 25th. You bring your broken items to the Bioneers Conference, and these people from the iFixit cafe will show you. So let's say you have a broken iPhone screen. Right?
You can fix it yourself.
Fix it yourself. And the whole reason they do this is because we have become a throwaway society. If one of our electronics or something breaks, it's cheaper to just go get a new one a lot of times. But that's not sustainable any way you look at it.
And honestly, when you think about it, is it really cheaper? It's just we don't know what to do with our iPhone when it's not working. And so you chuck it and you get a new one.
Yeah.
But the iFixit people, they really have this philosophy that we need to be fixing our devices and reusing them rather than getting a new one.
Yeah, we need to have them on the show at some point.
Yeah,
but
they're really, really cool
you
guys.
can meet them in person Friday, October the 25th at the Central Coast Bioneers Conference. Also, enjoy the Green Chef Cook-Off. That's Saturday night, October the 26th. Dancing to the Mother Cornshuckers, a wonderful, wonderful group. I love the name, too. Wine, and then a great selection of Figueroa Mountain beers, among my absolute favorites.
Very nice.
Patty, you were just telling me during the commercial break that the brewer there at Figueroa, I know Jamie Dietenhofer, the founder, but the brewer is,
I can't think of his name right now off the top of my head.
he's doing some wines now, or beer
well,
wines?
he partnered up with the local winery, and the name is escaping me. Surprise. But I did a story with him about a month or so ago, and he is making a wine beer. Not totally clear on what that is like,
Yeah.
but it's in barrels right now, and I feel like he said early November they were going to bring it out in some form or fashion. So
I know
we'll have to check in with him and see what that's all about.
Brewers make something called a barley wine because it's high in alcohol, and maybe they're then aging it in wine barrels from this brewery. I don't know. I'm just like throwing out possibilities.
It
but
sounded like a beer wine combo.
oh, well,
So
hey, why
we'll have
not?
to find out more.
Well, I'll tell you what, you've got to, if you're listening right now and the topics that you enjoy on this show week after week really intrigue you, then this is really the conference for you. CentralCoastBioneers.com. And it's just bio, B-I-O, and then N-E-E-R-S, a play on the term pioneers, right? CentralCoastBioneers.org. You can get your tickets right then. All right, as promised, Patty, it's time to discuss the plane door on a motel roof.
That is right.
I got to tell you, this is one of those stories that we can chuckle about because nobody was hurt.
Right, exactly. But of course, if it was landing on your hotel roof, you might have had a different reaction.
Right. Apparently, it's in Monterey County, and the roof itself will need some repairs because the door of this plane crash landed right on top of it.
It did. And, it happened. This is according to the Salinas, California. The door belonged to a Beechcraft King Air, took off from the Monterey airport there Thursday. Well, the pilot landed after hearing this pop sound. He says he did not realize at first that the door came off his plane until he was back on the ground. Well, authorities later found that door on top of the El Castel Motel on North Fremont Street in Monterey. I know where that is. It's just about a mile from the airport. Good thing that it just landed on the roof and nothing else happened because,
Right.
who
Yeah.
knows what could have happened if it had landed on a street or a car or...
The pilot and his passenger, according to the story, thought the door just came open, and then they're like, okay, we need to land the plane. And then when they got on the ground, they're like, oh, no door.
gone.
It's gone. So they checked with a
boy.
couple of surrounding areas there, the golf course, because there's a golf course right there. And everyone's like, no, we haven't seen it. And it wasn't until the next day that it was discovered on top of this motel. So... I would imagine
boy.
it's not a light door, that
Right.
it probably did some damage to,
You would think, yes.
But good thing it didn't like slam right on through and then,
It didn't go through the roof, right?
yeah, 'cause we've heard of things like that happening.
Yeah,
in the
I mean,
past.
like if it had landed in a street, a car was passing by, it could have been a completely different outcome.
Right.
Pretty scary.
Okay, so if you're not following us on Twitter, of course, we recommend that you do. It's twitter.com/eat drink explore. In fact, everything, our Facebook page is the same, and we don't just like double post. So it's not like something where if it's on Facebook, it's on Twitter and vice versa. What I do on the Facebook page is I mostly put our videos from the video simulcast for our shows and kind of let you know what's upcoming. Twitter, I just post all day long based on news stories that I think you'll like that have to do with food, wine, travel here in California. And so the ones that got the most reaction from our Twitter followers for the week, I thought it would be fun to
Highlight those.
Yeah, to discuss those a bit. One of them is, and this was posted in HuffPost Healthy Living, and it's the 7 best foods to buy organic. And this is something that goes through my mind every time I'm at the grocery store because, sometimes the organic version is a little bit more. And I think,
Right.
is this something I should be buying organic or does it really matter?
Yeah, could I get away with it?
Yeah. So the article written by Caroline Young, and I believe it's a partnership they have with like healthyliving.com or something. I can't find it on here. At any rate, we've already credited the author.
Yes.
So number 1 on the list is potatoes. And apparently conventionally grown have the highest pesticide contents among fruits and vegetables.
Wow. Even after they're washed and peeled, it says.
Right. I think of them in the ground, so I don't think of them being sprayed, but
Yeah, they're absorbing the pesticide in another way, obviously, but that is a little bit concerning when you think about it. And when you think about you have potatoes in other, places that are not in your home.
French fries,
Right.
breakfast. Breakfast always comes with some sort of potato,
Right.
80 according to the USDA. 81%, so more than 8 out of 10 of the potatoes tested back in 2006 contained pesticides even after being washed and peeled.
That is a little disturbing.
Number 2 on the list, beef, right, Patty?
That's right. So when the animals are conventionally raised, they are fed growth hormones and medications to help them fight disease and speed up their growth and so forth. But then that ends up in our beef, our food, our hamburgers, and then in us. So that's the big reason why beef is number 2 on the list.
Yeah, the EU has banned all hormones in beef completely. And I got to tell you, I met an amazing person back in Austin. He is he runs a pork co-op. And if you've eaten at Chipotle restaurants or bought pork at Whole Foods, you've
had his product.
Had some of his product. He nearly died because he got an infection from his pigs, and he was the type that used plenty of antibiotics and that sort of thing. He completely turned that around, and now raises all sustainable. The pigs have room to roam around, and because of that, then you don't have to use the same amount of antibiotics. He uses none because it was an antibiotic-resistant strain that he got. So this is a big one for him. He came real close to death and decided this isn't right.
Very scary.
We'll have him as a guest on the show coming up. Milk is number 3 on the list, and once again, it's because of the hormones mentioned in Patty's beef that she was talking about. RBGH is the hormone. You see so many milk cartons nowadays that say RBGH free. But organic's even better because it means what they're eating. It's that whole food system thing, where if it concentrates the more you eat. So if they're eating a bunch of hay, or what do cows eat? Hay?
And they
grass.
eat and feed.
And feed, right? Oh, and corn. I guess they give them a lot of corn. But
Yeah.
now you can get grass-fed milk here in California.
Right.
So the grass-fed organic, I guess, would be the best way to go.
The best choice. Well, and here's another this one makes me just apples.
I just had an organic apple before the show.
Right, apples are on the list. So the apple peel is one of the popular tree fruit's healthiest parts, right? My mom would say, don't peel your apples. That's where all the good stuff is.
All the goodies.
But apparently that is also where the pesticides accumulate as well. So that's why they are number 4 on the list of things. If you're going to buy them, choose the organic option. If you have any concern about pesticides in your food, that's going to be one you're going to want to avoid.
And we have organic apple growers here on the Central Coast, so choose one of those. Growers on the Central Coast, strawberries, big. We are strawberry territory.
Yeah,
We're
Strawberry Central right
within
here.
the sound of my voice. And if you see all those plastic rows on the ground, that's because they're trying to trap in that fungicide that they shoot into the earth. And I got to tell you, I know they're more pricey, but you can find them now, and at somewhat comparable prices. If you can get organic strawberries, do it.
Yes,
Absolutely do it.
It's a good choice. Yeah, that is one where not that long ago, Randall, it was hard to find organic berries. Just
it was close to
in general.
impossible, right? But now you can even get them at Costco.
Right, there are more options.
To round out the list here, kale and spinach, and last on the list, peaches. We're running out of peach season here, sadly, but when it comes around next summer, make sure you get the organic version. Okay, so there you have it. Boy, we're chatty.
Yes, we
only
didn't get through.
We only got to one of the Twitter posts. At any rate, you're listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore Radio Network. We're back in just a moment. Join us for the 4th annual Central Coast Bioneers Conference, October 25th to the 27th at the Monday Club in San Luis Obispo. You will hear leading thinkers in ecoscience, social and environmental activism, the new food system economy, economics, and ecosystem restoration. Come away with knowledge on how each of us can play a meaningful role in facing today's world challenges. On Friday, our keynote speaker will be Drew Dellinger, founder of Global Poets for Justice. Enjoy the Green Chef Cook-Off Saturday night, October the 26th, with dancing to the Mother Corn Shuckers, wine, and a great selection of Figueroa Mountain beers. Tickets on sale now at centralcoastbioneers.org. That's centralcoastbioneers.org.
Gary and Marcy Eberly of Eberly Winery invite you to a Harvest Festival dinner in the Caves with Top Chef Trey Wilcox. Friday, October 18th at 6 p.m. Chef Trey Wilcox has won numerous awards, both locally and nationally, and was named one of Food and Wine's best new chefs. Wilcox is all too familiar with the world of chefs and their egos. He was on Top Chef after all, but has no patience with famous for being famous shtick. He would rather just be known for his cooking, and his food is delicious. A perfect blend with Eberly's award-winning wines in the backdrop of their famous caves. Get ready for an amazing dining experience during Harvest Festival. Call Eberly Winery today. 238-9607. That's 238-9607. Dinner in the Caves at Eberly Winery with Top Chef Trey Wilcox. For more information, log on to eberlywinery.com. Dinner in the Caves on Friday, October 18th during Harvest Festival at Eberly. Located on Highway 46, just 3 miles east of the 101 in the heart of Paso Robles wine country.
Welcome back to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio show, 9:49 now, the time here on this Sunday Funday morning. I'm your host, Randall White, and I'm joined by Patty Pyburn.
Good morning.
Helping me round out the second hour of our shoe, our very big shoe. Eat, Drink, Explore's Sunday Funday hour has been brought to you by Sidecar Restaurant in downtown San Luis Obispo. It's on Broad between Higuera and Marsh Street. I mean, this is the heart of downtown. And So let's see, it's 9:49, right? You might be considering where to go for brunch right now. If you happen to live in San Luis Obispo, if you're in Santa Cruz listening, you're like, well, I'm not going to make it in time for brunch. but by all means, if you're within a short distance of Sidecar, make it the top of your list. Sidecar has a constantly changing seasonal menu, but some of their favorites, they carry it over from menu to menu, including their amazing roasted Brussels sprouts, which I was not a Brussels sprout fan until I tried them here. I got to tell you, they're good, really good. A wide array of vegan and vegetarian dishes as well, plus plenty of meat for the omnivores out there, Patty Pyburn.
Oh, good. Perfect. I am an equal opportunity eater.
And I got to tell you, their bartenders are extremely talented. they will find something that you like, and they'll mix you up something non-alcoholic, or they really put together. Anthony, our audio guy, what's the one that they do the wine floater on top? That's called a San Luis Sour. So they make. Heaven. Oh, it's so good. Anthony says it's heaven.
Sounds good.
They make like a sour, is it a whiskey sour? I think it is whiskey in it. Oh, they make it with gin. So it's like a gin sour that they float a Central Coast red wine on top, and they put it in a champagne glass. It's an old style cocktail and really delicious. They also serve locally made cider there.
Ooh,
and
nice.
The cider is absolutely fantastic. It's organic, and it comes from trees here on the Central Coast, and they don't add yeast. They just use natural yeast floating in the air, and it's not excessively sweet. If you've tried what's the cider that's really big now? It's like Crooked or Angry Orchard. So if you've tried Angry Orchard, which is good, but it's a little sweet for my taste, this one's
not
super
as
dry.
Sweet. Okay,
yeah,
good.
I love it. So anyway, Sidecar Restaurant, you can find them online, sidecarslo.com. All right, our guest this hour is, now I don't know if you've caught the headlines or not over the past several weeks, but meteorologist Eric Holthaus was on a flight at SFO heading home to Wisconsin, and he was checking out the latest report on climate change from the international, let's see, I don't have it here, but Eric can let us know. At any rate, it was the big new report that came out, and it literally brought him to tears. This is a meteorologist who knows plenty about weather and how things work. And at that point, he realized, I've got to change something, and I know that flying is a big component of my carbon footprint, and so I'm going to cut out flying. And boy, his tweets really took off, and I think spurred some somewhat mean headlines, basically calling him a crybaby or whatnot. So I wanted to invite him onto the program to talk about his pledge and what it means to him. We welcome meteorologist Eric Holthaus to the program. Hi, Eric.
Thank you.
Yes. Now you live in Viroqua, right?
Viroqua, Wisconsin, yep.
And first time on the air in Madison, Wisconsin, and we had a story out of there, and I called it Viroqua. I got a no from my news director. That is not how you pronounce it. Eric, tell us, what was that moment like on the plane, and what made you throw it out there in tweets?
Well, I had just finished a week in San Francisco with my company called Weather Mob, which is trying to crowdsource weather observations from the new Samsung phones have a barometer built in.
Oh,
and
that's
so
cool.
we're trying to fill the gaps in weather data coverage from around the world.
Does
so
my Galaxy 3S have that? Because I have a Galaxy 3S.
It might, but I know for sure the 4S does.
Okay.
But anyway, so we're in town, talking about our company, and I also have a writing job for Quartz magazine, which is outgrowth of the Atlantic.
Oh, I love the Atlantic. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I just finished a piece overnight. They report the Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change released. It's a body of 195 countries around the world through the UN nominate their top scientists to write a report every 6 years on the state of the science on climate change. So they released the report at 4 a.m. Eastern time on Friday morning, which is probably the worst time ever to release any major report, but they did it in Stockholm. And they said, so this is a compendium of the last 6 years of recent research, they said that there's a 95% chance that humans are driving climate change around the world. And unless we take immediate, sustained, and substantial reductions of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases, then it's basically inevitable that we're going to reach the tipping point where climate change becomes
irreversible.
Uncontrollable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, irreversible. That's the word that they use, irreversible.
Yeah,
so,
that's sad.
So it's pretty scary. I mean, I've been following this, for more than a decade, and I write about it for a living. So I guess, in that moment, seeing those words, I was on the phone with my wife, realizing, we are, this is it, we are at the point of no return. And unless we all, contribute as much as we can, it's going to be a tough road.
And that's the key part right there, Eric, unless we do something about it right now. But we can't even pass a budget to keep the federal government operating right now. We're never going to get everyone on board to start
to do something about climate change.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so so climate change is an issue where, if everyone, if we all work together and we stop it, the best case result is nothing happens.
Yeah.
Right? Like we keep the planet that we have now. So it's really kind of hard to motivate people to give up substantial parts of their lifestyle or to invest into energy saving technologies and that sort of thing. And the outcome is being exactly the way things are right now. So it's kind of a psychological conundrum there, I guess.
Yeah.
But
well, we have a link online at eatdrinkexplore.com under today's program summary that will link you directly to a carbon footprint test you can take. It's the same one Eric took to figure out what really spiked for him, and it happened to be air travel that spiked for him, so that's what he is cutting out of his carbon diet, you might say. It might be different for you, so go ahead to Eat, Drink, Explore under today's program summary and check that out. Eric, sadly, we're out of time, but really great to hear your opinion on this, and maybe we'll have you back on in the future to discuss it a little bit more.
Sure, I love it. Thanks.
All right. You can follow him online, twitter.com/Eric Holthaus. That does it for me and Patty. Make it a great day, everyone. Get out there and enjoy California.
You've been listening to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio program. If you missed any of our segments today, look for them online or through our free Apple and Android apps. Catch you back right here next week.